Sarah, first off, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course.
Happy to be here.
hmm So, yeah, getting this started, would you be able to give us a little bit about who you are and what you do here on the internet?
Yeah, sure. I'm a channeler, and I mean, I started out really as like an energy worker, but I quickly discovered doing energy work that, oh, I'm seeing and hearing and feeling all kinds of stuff when I work on people. So it led me more down the intuition route, which then kind of blew me into channeling. Yeah, the main place I show up is on YouTube, and I like to bring through messages to help people during the ascension process and kind of what's going on and how we can start integrating a lot of the energy that's hitting the planet and what all this means. So I'd say that's my big focus at the moment.
Awesome. So, how would you describe what the energy is that you channel? Maybe where does it come from? How does it feel? How would you even begin to get into what you channel?
Yeah. So there's two particular groups or beings that I work with. They kind of just showed up. I think I put myself in this state and they started. I'm very visual, so I see them and then I can feel them when they step in too. The first group that I really work with is a group of Arcturians. So those are extraterrestrial beings, and from my understanding, this is like one of the beings in that group is like me from the future.
Wow.
So I also I have a spirit baby around me who's been with me for years, and I feel it's a female, and she feels like she's also part of that group. So I guess my unborn daughter is also one of the Arcturians I've seen. So it's just like us, and they call themselves the ambassadors. So they feel like they're really working with Earth and this ascension process to bring a lot of information from the higher realms. So I really love their energy. They're very the Arcturians are very like mathematical kind of. They're system builders. They've told me that they're master builders, so they really explain things in a very detailed way, which I enjoy. So they give me a lot of like history and stuff like that as well. And then the other energies that I work with is a pair of angels. One of them is Gabriel. Um, I've been told that I'm basically like from this sounds so egotistical when I say this, but I'm like, this is just what I was told. I'm like from basically Gabriel's bloodline, I guess. We all kind of fractal and split. So it doesn't mean I'm like, oh, I'm a piece of Archangel Gabriel. It's kind of like I'm a fractal of a fractal of a fractal. But if I go
hmm
back to like the source of my energy, it feels like it comes from Gabriel a bit. And he's a really beautiful messenger that brings through a lot of high vibe messages to help us step into the heart and into this energy that's been coming through.
Wow. Okay. This is powerful stuff. We're only 2 minutes in. That's pretty wild. You're sending messages to yourself from the future and your
Yeah.
unborn daughter. That's I believe it. I believe all this stuff. I've been on the path and I realize that the truth is stranger than fiction, but sometimes it's like really strange. Sometimes it doesn't seem believable, but you are directly experiencing this, so you can't help but believe it. I think that's the only way to believe it. Us speaking about it now, anybody listening, it's like, I guess, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt,
Yeah.
right? But it's like, it's realer than real to you.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about this type of work with channeling or soul work. When we dive into those inner places, we feel it and we experience it. And it might seem, I don't know if I can say that batshit crazy, but it's like, no, this is real because I feel it in my body. And we experience that in our walking life too. If we get an inspiration or an idea, it might seem crazy, but we know that it's real to us. I have to pursue and move in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now, I believe we all have these innate abilities, these innate gifts that are given to us from these beings, from these angels. And it's just a matter of being able to tap in. It's just a matter of doing the practices, being still enough to be able to listen. Do you have any specific practices, modalities, or just exercises that you would recommend to tap in a general sense?
Yeah. I actually believe it's easier than we think. And I feel like we're always connected. the easiest way to do that is kind of just asking the universe to show how connected we are. But the big thing I do is I like to pull light all around me. So I'll create this bubble of light. I imagine pulling it down, white light, and that kind of puts me in this realm, this higher realm that these beings are in, and I call them in. I usually feel them come into the back of me, and it's almost like they're sending me energy and talking to me. Um, but when you pull that light in, you also want to drop your awareness from your brain into the heart, and that just means paying attention to that heart space. And you're letting that speak to you. Everything filters through the heart. That is our truth. So the more that
Hmm.
you can drop in there and ask, what is it that you want to show me? What's most important for me to know right now? And it'll bring something forward. You just have to trust what you're feeling. A lot of people aren't visual, and that's okay. Usually we're a feeler or a knower first, but it's learning to trust that. It might feel like you're making things up, but you're going to feel in your body that this feels real, and we're learning to trust that. And it can be as simple as just pulling that light in and imagining it and asking what it wants to say.
Mm. So essentially, it's first of all, be open, open a sort of gate within your energetic system, and then kind of like send out the love. Be open, but also like be open in love.
Yeah.
Open the heart center, and then that will enable whatever wants to come through to come through.
Yeah. And tapping into that heart energy is a big part of it. And we could call it love. A big thing that I like to do if I'm feeling a little closed off is I'll drop into my heart and really think of three things that I'm grateful for or something that I really love, whether that's, your cat or your dog or,
Mm.
something that feels really pure that you can connect to love with. And it's going to really help open the heart. And then from there, you can pull that light in and start receiving messages.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might only last like 5-10 minutes, and that's okay.
Mm. Again, sounds batshit crazy, but it's the truth.
Right.
It's interesting too because it's coming into the limelight with people like Stephen Greer and the disclosure, the popularity of disclosure. It's all based around the psychic phenomena and what we just described, like sending out love to the universe, and then these beings will approach you. Well, if you are tapped into yourself, you've kind of already known that. You've known that this is the blueprint, this is the protocol of how it all works to communicate with these higher beings that may be yourself in the future in some way.
Yeah.
It's all just about love, right? It's all about like being open enough to receive. Ask and you shall receive, a wise man once said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the crazy thing is, too, if we want to get really deep, is that it is all us at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And everything is happening at the same time. Even though I say these beings are like me from the future, it's also that future is now.
Yeah.
Um, so we're super connected, but everything exists in a different frequency or dimension. So we can't physically see it or approach it or touch it, but we can feel its presence. Um, just like when you might think of a friend, oh, I haven't talked to this friend in a while, and they pop in, and it's like, I want to connect with them. And then they call you. Um, it's kind of the same thing is happening. We have a little game of telephone that's happening with versions of us in different lifetimes or our guides. And they kind of approach when we're ready and we're stepping more into that energy so that we're able to receive it.
Yeah. And stepping into that energy is like stepping out of time, right?
Mhm.
When we constrain our paradigm to time of this is the future or this is the past, somehow in that creates a disconnect because it's not the now. And then that disconnect creates a barrier to the communication, if you want to call it communication.
Mhm.
And it's all based upon the illusion that we put in our head that that isn't me, that I'm
Yeah.
not connected, that I'm here, I'm Gary in this body, this is who I am right now, and whatever else can come through, that's in the future, that's way far away, that's light years away, whatever the story is, it's creating some kind of disconnect. But when you
Yeah.
throw time and space out the window and you realize it's all one. It's all connected. It's all one mix. It's all one giant soup that we're in. Then the possibilities are endless. So it's like, start with that idea. It's not even an idea, it's the truth. Start with that truth that we're all one. It's really all you at the end of the day. It's all non-local and it's all non-linear. And I think that will also be a huge aid in establishing that connection, establishing the channel, you could say, to transmit whatever message wants to come through. It's all one. And it all makes sense in that way too, right? Because if you're under the paradigm of time, none of this makes sense, right? It's like, what are you
Right.
guys talking about? But when you put in the context of it's all one, it's like, oh, of course, if it's all one consciousness, it's all one soup, it's all one just thing, then inevitably somehow we're all connected. It's obvious. So
Right.
yeah, that's the big 180. It goes from like craziness to obviousness,
Yeah.
right?
And I hear from people all the time too, just talking about this connectedness of, we're all experiencing similar things. Like right now, a lot of us we're having these really massive dips and highs and lows, and they're happening so rapidly. Like one day we're feeling great, we feel the possibility. And then the next day it's like, boom, we are back in that ditch. Like, why do I not feel safe or loved or that I'm important, whatever it may be? And then we jump back up. And this is a collective experience. So it's also showing how connected we all are, that we're
Mm-hmm.
all experiencing this similar thing, and how we are all remembering our oneness and coming back into it because we're experiencing the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. As above,
Yeah.
so below.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, powerful stuff. Wow. Okay. Yeah, something's going on, huh? Something is definitely going on. And what's going on, we could say, in a relative sense, is we're all linking up. We're all like remembering who and what we really are, and not who you are at a human level. Yes, that, but also like at a very deeper level, how we're all connected. All of this is connected somehow, some way, and maybe in ways that you can't even see, physically see or feel. It's more of like an intuitive knowing. Would you say that is the case? It's like this intuitive knowing, a sixth sense that goes beyond all of the other five senses.
100%. Yeah. But we're also getting to know these five senses
Mm-hmm.
because these five senses go far beyond just this physical plane. So when we talk about like the clairs, there's claircognizance, which is a knowing, there's clairsentience, which is feeling. As a lot of mediums, they can like taste or smell, cigarette smoke from a spirit that's coming through or something. So it's like we're being trained in these physical senses so they can also serve as intuitive senses.
That's interesting. Yeah. Do you have a lot of experiences with that? Like opening up your five senses and hearing, smelling, feeling things that you didn't normally feel?
Oh yeah. Um yeah, one of the I like my angels will tell me that they're around. I'll see like these little flashes of light out of the corner of my eye, or these little lines of light. I'll get this particular pitch in my ear, and it's always my left ear letting me know, "Hey, I'm here. We have something we want to share with you."
Oh, yeah.
So they just find these different ways, using sound, using the things I'm seeing that just can't be really physically explained.
Yeah, exactly. Synchronicity, right?
Synchronicities too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's how I find the divine communicates with me. It's all through these things that are like, "Ah, what? There's no way. There's no
Yeah.
way that was by chance."
Yeah.
I think we can all relate to that.
hmm
All right. Stuff just adds up a little too good. It's like, okay, where are the cameras? Am I getting punked right now? That's what it feels like.
Yeah. I've been doing this thing recently where when I go to sleep, if I have a question or something about my life, I'll sit and just, meditate for a minute or two, asking this question, saying, okay, you can either reveal this in my dreams or, the next day I want this to kind of let the answer unfold if you're able to. And the past 2 nights, what I've asked for, I've woken up and I'll check my email and I have an email that is like the answer to my question. So, for instance, I had a dream and a certain person was in it, and I was like, "Are you sure that they're part of this?" And I had like an intuition about their part in my life, I'm like, "Are you sure it was them?" And then I woke up and I had an email from them. And it's not someone that, I mean, it's like a client. So it's not someone I was in, necessarily in contact with. So I was like, wow, it's spirit works so incredibly um synchronistically, or it's
Yeah.
going to bring these things to you in a
Yeah,
really
exactly.
beautiful way.
Yeah. The word that came up for me was some sort of order. It's like
Mm,
spirit works through orderliness in ways that you couldn't even imagine. Like out of this illusion of Maya that we seem to think is chaos, spirit somehow places little, very subtle instances of order in one's life. And if you're what's the word I'm looking for? If you're aware enough, you'll see it. I think it's all the time actually that the hints are always there, but you have to be aware enough. I think you have to be still enough to be able to see the order. You know? So I like to
yeah.
recommend meditation. Meditation in that aspect, I think, strengthens the mental muscle to be able to be open and aware enough to see the order that's working all in your accord.
Yeah.
It's like if you follow the order will work for you.
Hmm.
You know, you feel that like a sort of benevolence that's leading you down as you work with spirit, like it's leading you down the endeavors of your humanly life.
Absolutely. It feels like the way you're talking, I just feel that analogy of the river. It's that flow, it's the
Yeah,
allowance, the receiving. It's like, okay, when we get in
that's
this
it.
state of crunchedness of control, I got to figure it out. It's like, oh, we're out of that flow. We're stuck in a rock in the river.
Mm. Yeah, exactly right. You just got to get out of your own way.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the path is just letting go of control. Stop trying to control. We don't have any control anyway. So just let go of control. Let these beings that have a lot more power, a lot more, I don't know. Yeah, power, I guess, is the word. I can't think of a better word. But these beings that have, or being that has a lot more power, you could say God, you could say your higher self, you could say whatever word you want to use. There's something else that's working through us, right? And if you let it work through you, it will make your humanly life a little bit smoother. I find at least. You just have to be open enough and let go. What's the word? Surrender. That's the buzzword that I feel comes up in every conversation that I have. Just completely surrender to a greater force than yourself. And that's when the fun starts. That's when you can float downstream in the river of
Yeah.
life, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. There's this phrase that has come through for me in channel, that my guides have been repeating, which is, I love you so much that I will go first.
Oh.
And I feel like
Hmm.
that is kind of referring to as well what you're talking about, where there are these energies and these beings that are more in their power and they want to teach us how to be more in our power too.
Yeah.
So they went first, they're in this higher plane. So they're here for us to learn from. We just have to let go and be able to receive the teachings that they want to bring us. And then we step in and we go first. And there are going to be others that we teach and we pull up with us.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Interesting. That's the path, right? It's like they're guiding us along the way that they already tread. It's interesting.
Yeah.
And then we go back into the context of you said it was you in the future communicating with you. It's like, oh, that makes sense. It's like you're just paving your own way in some way.
Yeah.
It's a simultaneousness because like it may sound like a contradiction. It's like other beings that are also you. Yeah, that's the case. It's a simultaneousness of like your humanly self and then some kind of other ethereal angelic self that is also you working in cohesion in this same moment. It's pretty trippy.
It
And it's
is.
quite hard to describe.
It
But I
is.
think you know what I'm talking about, right? It's a
I do.
simultaneousness that we find to our being that we
Yeah, I'm
incorporate.
picking up what you're throwing down.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty trippy. I mean, do you think that is like what we're doing here is paving the way for ourselves to evolve into these higher beings? So when we inevitably leave the human experience someday, it's like evolving, metamorphosizing into a higher experience that this is it's pretty esoteric, but it's like we're metamorphosizing into a higher experience that we're paving right now. Like we're building the cocoon right now in this humanly life for us to flourish in the next life. You picking up what I'm
Um,
putting down now?
I think so. I think it's kind of a little bigger than that. I actually feel like we have this role as this soul fractal to come in and have this experience because our experience is also helping, you know, if I'm saying I'm this Arcturian being also from the
Yeah,
future,
I
my
get it.
experience is also helping them. And there's an exchange. And I feel like we're always after this soul growth and this expansion because all these lifetimes are connected. All of this
Hmm.
energy is connected. And, you know, an angelic being may not have ever experienced this earthly plane in the third dimensional realm, but by working with me, they get to learn and understand how it works. And they get to see from a different view. And we're all just um, creating this beautiful, you use this analogy to soup together.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a noodle, someone else is a carrot. You know what I mean? It's just, we all have kind of a role, but I don't think
Yeah,
it's necessarily where, oh, I'm doing all of this work to then become that Arcturian being. I think
I
then we
see.
can
Yeah.
come at that same level. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's powerful stuff. I always wonder if there are other beings, which, you know, I think we have concluded already in this conversation. There are other beings, quote unquote, other beings.
Yeah.
What are they so interested in with humans? Why do they like us so much? We're just apes, you know. We're faulty apes. What is it about humans that they're so interested in? Why are they so interested in protecting us? Why are they so interested in guiding us along? And when you put it that way, it's like, well, we hold something maybe that is special to them, like in terms of their experience. And I don't know if we can begin to describe it, but they can learn something through humanity and through our experience. And maybe it's like learning love. That's the only thing I can conclude is like you're learning love somehow. We're both expanding simultaneously. Is that a word? Yeah, simultaneously into a greater experience of love. And the only way that they can do it is by looking at our struggle here.
Hmm.
Am I making sense?
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
only thing I can conclude.
Yeah. So there's kind of lots of reasons I feel. And what I've been told by my guides is, well, what we've been talking about is that we are all one. They understand the connection of everything so that what happens to us also affects them. But there's this grander thing that's been happening in the universe. I'm sure you've heard about it, about like these wars that have been happening, the
Mm,
Orion Wars, Lyra, things like that. So the way I see it is Earth kind of stepped up to offer as this place to become this school. So
yeah.
we're getting our universal PhD right now. I feel like even beyond that, it's so that we can help those other versions of us in Lyra, in Orion, in the rest of the universe that are fighting against these darker forces. So we signed up to attract and seed energy on this planet that helps us learn how to step back into the heart,
Mm,
have this awareness of the manipulations of the dark, um, so that we can feed that back to these other versions of us in these other paradigms so that they can then step out of the wars and the entrapment that they're in. Because if we're going to get really quantum,
let's
uh,
go.
really quantum and weird. So in Lyra, those beings, they're super peaceful. They're really powerful beings. They were super intuitive, but they were super naive. They'd never encountered, or you know about like the reptilians and things like that.
Mm-hmm. A little
They'd
bit.
never encountered energy like that before. So when that energy showed up, they seem very charming, just like a narcissist might. Their energy in the forefront is I'm going to be charming to attract in what I want to take from these beings. And the Lyrans had never encountered energy like this, and they were so trusting. It felt like when those reptilians showed up, um, their intuition started kind of like glitching because they trusted these beings, and then they got tricked and they took over that planet, that constellation. And then these wars started, and it got even worse in Orion. But I think they don't know how to fully pull themselves out of that because they had never experienced energy like this. So as humans, you know, we chose a human body because I think we're like a newer race in the universe, humanoid
Uh-huh.
beings, and we're
Mm.
kind of still being developed. So we were developed into this race to come here and be the ones to discover how the dark operates and fully pull ourselves out of it. So then we can send all of this information to the rest of the universe and lift up all of us into this higher paradigm.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's
So
pretty far out, but that rings true.
it's like, okay, should we create a sci-fi movie about this?
I'd watch it. Yeah. I mean, the movie is your own life. It's not even like we have to create some sort of sci-fi. It's like it's happening. We're in the movie, you know?
Right.
It's happening as we speak.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's like Earth is Special Forces boot camp.
Mhm.
That's what I feel. It's like a test. I feel as though it's some sort of test. I mean, we've all heard that before. Imagine, Earth school.
Yeah.
But that just rings true. It seems like I'm continually tested. And what are we tested on? I think it's to become compassionate beings. It's to not fall for the tricks and the manipulation of the dark. And it seems like that's what Satan is. If you want to look at what Satan is in a Christian archetype, it's like the trickster, the one
Mhm.
that leads one into temptation. It tricks you into some sort of distortion out of the truth of love, of compassion, of selflessness, into selfishness, right? So I think
Yeah.
that's what we get tested on here is like there's endless, especially in the time that we live in, endless temptation into the dark. And it's up to us to pass the test. That's the thing, it's continual too. It's not like all of a sudden you pass the test. It's like every day. Every day can you pass the test. That's what I feel at least. It's like it's boot camp, but it's like every day you wake up, every moment.
Yeah.
And that might sound a little drastic, but it's actually once you tap in, I feel like it's actually easy to notice the test and pass the test.
Yeah. It's pretty powerful. I think what you're talking about is it's a proof of our own power. Uh,
Exactly. Yeah.
are we going to drop it? Or are we going to stay in it? And maybe this quote unquote darkness that we're feeling isn't as serious as we make it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's how you overcome the darkness is you almost laugh at it. You see how silly it all is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Have you ever seen that movie, The Labyrinth? Do you know what I'm
No,
talking
I've
about?
heard of it. I haven't seen it though.
Um, it's kind of a deep cut. But in the movie, the Jennifer Connelly plays this girl who has to go into this labyrinth to get her baby brother back, and David Bowie plays like this goblin king, and she finally makes it to the castle to face the evil David Bowie. And there's this moment where he's like showing her this crystal ball, and he's like, "You could have all of this. I'll make you my queen. You could be rule over all of this." And that's kind of what Satan or Lucifer does. It's like you could have all of this. They throw these charms at you, and on the other side, it's
Yeah.
actually just brutally awful. And she looks him in the eyes and says, and has this realization, and she goes, "You have no power over me." And everything starts to crumble, and he just like gets, I forget what happens to him, but I don't know if he gets sucked into something or melts or whatever, but everything just breaks and she falls back into her reality. But I feel like it's similar. It's like we have this realization of, oh, this is here. It's trying to tell me that I need all this physical stuff to be in my power and to feel worthy or abundant, but it actually has no power over me. It's all
Mm.
inside of me here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's part of the test. It's like it's trying to trick us out of our power, our innate divine power, into some kind of falsity, some
hmm
sort of illusion of power, some ephemeral power. Yeah. Wow, this is good. I feel that though. Like I said, it just rings true.
yeah,
And having the power of God is like, yeah, nothing can harm you.
yeah. Do you want to know something really trippy?
Please, yes, let's
Okay.
go all the way.
All right. So I know, but I think I told you in the email, I love like soul work and diving deeper into like the soul, and that might mean past lives or just different experiences the soul wants to show us energetically. So I've done a lot of work about lifetimes in ancient civilizations, and in Atlantis, and a lifetime I also had with the fallen Anunnaki. I've seen this king, and the king to me looks like the being who we would call Lucifer. He kind of looks like Dumbledore, but instead of that Preston nose, he's got like a really long pointy one. That's what it looks like to me. Anyways,
Okay.
um, I've come in contact with this being in both of those lifetimes, and he's charmed me and tricked me into offering me, or tried to trick me into offering me something, or to be a part of
Sell your
something.
soul.
Yeah. So, like in Atlantis, they were building these huge lasers that were going to burst through the dimensions. They wanted to take over dimensions. They wanted to take over everything. And they tricked me and said, oh, this is for the greater good. We want to create these so we can connect with the higher realms. Will you help us build them? And I was like, oh, okay, sure, that's great. And then I soon find out that what they're creating is not beneficial. It's a very scary thing, and they're going to destroy a lot of stuff. So I back out and I say, I don't want to do this. And they take me to see the king, who is this very evil, scary looking guy. And they throw me in prison, and they slit my throat, and they take my heart and my brain and they put it in this robot body so that I
Wow.
would then behave the way they wanted me to. But so that's like the type of things they do. But this being, I was like, I keep seeing these charms that he keeps trying to entice me into. So I went in and did this like deeper session and met him in his like layer in his realm, and I could see all of a sudden it started turning green around me, like the color of the heart chakra, and I was like, what is going on? And he's like, you're going to see it in just a minute. And I peeled back like the dark cloaks that are around him, and it's this green glowing heart. And kind of what I said earlier, like, I love you so much. He goes, I know and love myself so much that I can put all of this darkness over me because it's serving you to grow into more of who you are. And I just saw this role that the dark has taken on. And it almost feels like this being that we call Lucifer is like, can you get it already? Like, I'm kind of done. It
Mm.
just feels like,
Uh-huh.
let's all understand this so we can like be done with our roles too. Um, but just that it's like we put on all these layers to remove them to then see our truth. It's like this backwards game a little bit. But
Mm.
I kind of forget why I was sharing this. So something based off of what you were saying. But
I don't even remember.
I think it was just incredible to see that that being is doing such a great job playing this role so that we can step into more of who we are and understand. And it just felt like it was God, but it was God with all this crap all over it, so
Mm.
that it would, you know,
Yeah, that's it. That's what we were talking about, is like stepping into the power that
yeah,
we divinely have. And it's like, from that point of view, again, feels like a sci-fi movie.
yeah,
We're in the movie. From that point of view, it's like what you're stepping into is seeing that even God created Lucifer. Even God created the darkness for you to be able to see that it is an illusion and step into your own divinity, your own godhood, you could say. So it's
hmm,
like, that's the only way to triumph over the darkness, is to see that it's all good in some way. Like, even the most bleak, decrepit, just evil thing you can think of is actually part of the soup. It's actually part of the mix of God, all of it's God in some way. So it's up to you, if you do want to walk hand in hand with God, is to be able to see through the darkness, see through the charming illusions, the temptations. And if you can see through the charm, the illusion of power, then you do get granted real power. And it's almost like it's a different kind of power. I'm using the same word, but it's almost like when you don't want humanly power anymore, the power to dictate others and things of that nature, you get real power. That's when you step into the real power of God that created the darkness in the first place.
yeah. It's that light, that understanding, that information of, oh, this is what really is. This is who I really am.
Yeah. What's that
And it's
Bible quote? I'm going to butcher it. Sorry. It's like,
you're fine.
it's in the beginning. I think it's in Genesis. I'll correct myself in the future, but it's like the light shined and the darkness couldn't understand it. I definitely butchered the quote, but it's something
Mm,
along those lines. It's like the light. You know what? I'm gonna look it up real quick.
go for
Hold
it.
on. So might have to take a quick intermission. Hold on. The light shined and the darkness understood it not, something like that. But it's the essence that we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of truth in the Bible if you get out of the dogma.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so John 1:5, the light shines in the darkness and the darkness has not overcome it. Or another translation, the light shines in the darkness and the darkness can never extinguish it.
Mm,
There's other translations to that. Oh, here's another one. This is like old school. And the light shineth in darkness and the darkness comprehended it not. So it can't comprehend it. It's this light that the false devil, the devil doesn't even exist. He can't comprehend God. That's the thing, is he can't even, he wants to hold Lucifer, the archetype of Lucifer wants to be God. He wants to be his own God, have his own
yeah.
power. But there's not even any way in his idea of power that he can be granted the power of God. He comprehends it not. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's the essence that we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's
And it
like
feels like
different. Sorry,
go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say it's a different kind of power. That's kind of the moral of the story here. It's like we're using
Yeah.
the same word of power, but it's not the same power of the darkness and the power of the light. It's seemingly different.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, I knew you were gonna say something.
Oh no, you're fine. I think we're churning here. We
We're
have
all
so
over the
much.
place. The channeling. There's so much coming in right now.
Um, and it's this thing too that's just popping in where it's like if that being knows itself so much and knows its power that it can put all of this darkness around it and trust that it will come back to who it truly is,
Yeah.
and that's like Lucifer who we're talking about, then we can too.
Mm.
And we don't
Mm-hmm.
have as much crap on us.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, is like Lucifer is in us. The beast is in us. You
Yeah.
know, we're talking about these things like it's outside, some kind of outside story, which, you know, that might be the case. But moral of the story is that God is in us and also Lucifer is in us. So that battle that's being waged is an internal battle. You know, it's a
Mhm.
battle within the mind and the heart. And that's what's most important, I feel, that comes from the lessons of the Bible. It's like all of that is actually pertain to you. If you know how to look at it in the right way, it would all
Yeah.
pertain to you in your journey here, in your movie of life that you got going on, you know?
Yeah. Okay, I gotta ask because I grew up Christian. Did you grow up
I didn't
Christian or
grow up.
anything? What's your
Mm-mm.
like how'd you get into like Bible stuff? Because I'm fascinated by it too, and the way you talk about it seems similar to how I view it as well. It's like there is a lot of stuff in here, but it gets
Yeah,
misconstrued.
exactly. Well, I grew up in a secular family. We didn't have any um, exposure to anything really. They didn't raise me in any way. So I was pretty free to think how I wanted to think. And I only recently got into the Bible within the last year, maybe. And it's approaching it from the point of view of, you know, self-realization, Eastern philosophy, just after doing the work, you could say, after
Mhm.
going within yourself. That's when the Bible makes a lot more sense. It's like um, when you have gone within yourself, realized some things about yourself, a lot of what we described within the last half an hour, and you approach the Bible, it hits different. You know, when you're not just like taking some kind of blind faith from some guy in a collar that you call father every Sunday, when you're not taking just his interpretation and you actually interpret it yourself, it means a lot more. That's what I'm coming to find, at least. Like I said, this is only very recently in my life. But what I'm coming to find is that the Bible is the truth. But if you're not looking at it in the right way, it's just going to be another distortion.
Hmm.
You feel the
Yeah.
same?
Yeah. And I feel like there's nuggets in there. The thing that interests me the most, and I feel like a guide that I like to work with, but isn't one that's I work with regularly, is Jesus or Yeshua, and is his story and how distorted that gets and the things that he
Mm-hmm.
says. And I really enjoy going into channel and working with him and having him explain things the way he really meant them.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I kind of like that aspect. And I mean, I was raised Baptist and then non-denominational Christian and stepped away from it. But having that background, it is, I feel like I look at the Bible in a different light, having done a lot of my own deeper inner work as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's the most important part is you have to do your own inner work and it'll make a lot more sense. That's what Jesus was really telling us actually when he meant follow me. He didn't mean
Yeah.
like blindly follow him, like literally follow in his footsteps. And his footsteps are like, I like to say Jesus was the ultimate yogi. He's the ultimate mystic. So that's the um, that's the thing we follow is his way of life. We follow like how he would live. What would Jesus do? Right? That's the
Yeah.
we all hear that, but how many of us actually live by that and live by his word? Yeah, that's what I'm coming to find when I read his words. I'm like, oh, he was just on the path. You know, he was on the path that a lot of what Eastern philosophy showed us. Um, he was just on that similar wavelength. You know, he was just a yogi, and he was trying to explain it in a society that wasn't quite attuned to the path, to the yogic path. So that's why he got crucified. That's why, that's why it was blasphemy because nobody really knew what it meant to be realized. Nobody really knew what it meant to be a son of God. So, yeah, that's a whole rabbit hole in itself, but it really
Yeah.
just comes down to because he is a yogi. He figured out some things about himself. He tried to convey the good word to the people and the people were like, "What is this guy talking about?" But if you do the work, more of my story is like if you do the work, you'll come to realize what he was trying to say. Um, it's very powerful stuff. He might be the ultimate. That's the thing too. Is like it doesn't discredit the fundamental Christian teachings like that. He was like. So how am I trying to say this? It's like approaching it with Eastern philosophy actually backs up Western philosophy a lot more to me. So like when you approach, it all relates. It's all in the soup, as we said
Hmm.
before. So when you approach the Western philosophy, even if it's dogma, with a basis and a foundation of Eastern philosophy, as in like inner philosophy, it actually backs up what Jesus was saying even more that he might have actually been the one, he might have been like the sinless being. He might have been the holy of holy. It doesn't discredit any of that idea. It actually makes a lot more sense. It ultimately doesn't really even matter, but if you can, what I'm coming to see, it's like, oh, he actually might have been the one. It's actually, how do I put this? It puts a lot more credence into what it means to be Christian. Like I actually feel myself becoming Christian, but in a truer sense, not just from a sense of like, um, because somebody told me to be Christian. It's like becoming Christian and actually believing in Christ
Yeah.
and Jesus means a lot more when you believe it yourself rather than somebody else telling you to believe or else
Right.
or else you
Right.
might be condemned. It's like when you believe it out of your own will, then that means a lot more to who Jesus really was. So I'll just keep it at that. Kind of
Yeah.
rambling here.
No, you're fine. I love it. It kind of goes back to, what we've been talking about too, is that this oneness, and I feel like this phrase too of "I love you so much that I will go first." He went first to set the example of what I feel like we're all stepping into now. It's
Yeah.
here's the path. Here's how you overcome the dark. Here's how um, this is an illusion and it's not real. Yeah, they are going to physically kill me, but here I am. uh,
Yep.
yeah, I think he was breaking a lot of illusory thoughts and paradigms in his lifetime that we're still dissecting for
Yep.
sure. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what he was here to do. He was the ultimate revolutionary, right? And that's what a true yogi is, really. It's taking the essence of his idea of my kingdom is not of this world and really paving the new way for the kingdom of heaven, a new world within yourself and also on the outside, as above, so below, as we said.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I believe his incarnation was something very special, especially to the Western paradigm, the paradigm of the Pharisees, we could say, that is, that he granted us, that other yogis, they touched upon, like in the Upanishads and the Gita, they touched upon the same wavelength. But when Jesus came along, he was something different. He allowed something different to happen, you know, for us to really truly follow him and become like him. What is that also, that Bible quote? It's like, many will come after me that will do works
Mhm.
greater.
Mhm.
It's that essence.
Mhm.
He allowed that to happen through his entire life. And that's the thing of the sages too. Um, their teaching, what I come to find is like their teaching, their lessons extend further than their actual sermons. If they're a true saint, their lessons are in their life, how they live their life, all of the different highs and lows of their life, the different aspects, the different attributes that they bring into their life. That's the lesson. And that's what Jesus is. It's like his whole story. Even though we don't even know that much of his story, the little bit that we know is the lesson for us.
Hmm.
I revere like saints and sages of the past highly in that regard, right? Just like their whole story, what they bring to us. Do you I think you mentioned, Gabriel, and you mentioned you do work with Jesus, but are there any other beings that you resonate with greatly?
Um, I wouldn't say I connect a lot with saints or things like that. I feel like I go more into this sci-fi world of the
Yep.
extraterrestrial beings,
It all relates.
angels. Yeah, I mean, it's all, kind of, we're all from the same essence. Um, and then, yeah, there are times where I will do this meditation where I push myself up pretty high, and I like to connect with the energy of God's source. A lot of times, if I have something that I really need to heal and I can't kind of wrap my brain around it, I try to enter into that surrendered state and push myself up there and ask God, like, how would you heal this? What is it that I need to see and understand that I'm not able to see, on my own? And it just opens up this space of, let me show you. And there's this tenderness and compassion, like you said, and um, this guidance that I just feel held to be shown what I need to see. And that's been really powerful as well.
Mm,
Um, and then of course there's always the higher self too. I feel like I connect a lot with my higher self and that version of me. Mhm.
amen. Yep. Ultimately, that's what all the saints and sages are telling us, is that we have this ability to be the conduit in one way or the other, to open up ourselves to the higher self. We're just using maybe a little bit different language than the people of the past used, but it's all the same wavelength. It's all the same path.
Yeah. And that's part of the puzzle too, is we each are receiving it through our consciousness and our own version of reality, so that when we're all maybe receiving the same energy, the same downloads, but we're expressing it and interpreting it slightly different because there are other people that need to hear it that way so that they can interpret it for themselves. And it's
Mm,
just our own voice and our own interpretations of things really serve the collective and the oneness.
yeah,
And maybe some people, they don't resonate with it, but that's okay. There's going to be someone else that interprets that energy in a way that does help them.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And in that regard, it's quality over quantity. It's not about
Yeah.
how many people you reach, it's about who you reach.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now, do you feel, I like to say that's like, we have our own flavor on the Dharma. We all have our own flavor on sharing the Dharma. The Buddha had his, Jesus had his, all the other saints and sages that I can't even name right now, they all have their own flavor. But it's the same Dharma, it's the same truth. But that's what makes this movie, as we described, beautiful. It's like you have your own like unique way to express it, right? Like your own way that only you could, your own like sense of humor in a way to bring it about. Now, my question is, do you feel like once you sort of become acquainted with the one truth that you express in your own unique way, that it's, even though it's unique, it's like it's towards some sort of like unifying aspect? Is there a overarching message that we could try to convey here on what the Dharma is? Like, is it all toward unity? Is it all toward connection, selfless service, love, yada yada? How would you describe what the truth is. I know it's a big question. What's the truth?
Yeah. Well, I do think it all comes back to the heart. And
Yeah.
a lot of people might think, well, that heart is about gratitude, it is about love. But I think it's something even bigger than that. It is this connectedness, and we create that through fully stepping into who we are. We get to know who we are through the heart and stepping into
Mm-hmm.
our offering. What are we here to offer? That goes back to our
Uh-huh.
gifts.
Yeah.
It's you know, I'm going to step fully into who I am so that you can step fully into who you are. It's like if someone's afraid to sing and they want to sing, but they're singing quietly, it's like someone stepping in that's going to sing with them so they feel more comfortable. When we're
Mm.
all in our offering, then we're all feeling more comfortable to be in the offering of who we are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And I feel like that's what we're really coming back to and coming into is, what do I really have and want to offer? Because that's what's going to help shift and change the world. I don't have to know exactly how it's doing that, but maybe if I really just love to dance and that makes me feel in my highest vibration, then I'm going to put a dance recital or show together and perform it for people. And I'll find other people that maybe love to sing and play music, and we get to get together, and then people get to come and watch, and they get to leave with their hearts full because I was in my offering.
Mm. Yeah. Step into our offering. I like that.
Hmm.
And think about the essence of what an offering is. Just throwing it out there. You don't have to take it. I'm offering it to you. Right? No conditions.
Exactly.
That's the thing. There's a how do I put this? It's an unconditionality to living. That's the beauty of it. That's freedom, really. You're doing it without any sort of need for what's the like a return.
No
I don't need
expectation.
anything. Expectation. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You don't need any expectations in the way that we express ourselves. It's just throwing it out there type of thing.
Yeah, it's this calling. I just want to. I feel like I have to. Um, I don't know what's going to come of this, but I just got to do it because I love it. It feels so good to
Exactly.
be in that energy, and when
Yeah.
you put it out there and people receive it, they get tickets to your show or whatever it may be. It's like, oh, there's something really happening here. But if you're doing it where it's like, I I need to get 1,000 followers or I need to get this or whatever it may
Yep.
be, then it's like, well, it's part offering, part ego now. We want to find that
Mm.
purity of the heart's going to show you that path too of how do I actually want to step into this offering? What's actually here? And usually that comes with a lot of surprise and unexpectedness. Um, where we think it's going to go one way, but the heart is like, no, 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 we want to do it this way. This feels the most free, the most open.
That's true creativity right there. When you can create from that space, that's freedom. And
Mhm.
that's really what I feel the human experience is about, is being a creator, but it's not creating for anything. It's just because. That's real art. When you're just creating just to create, and you just get lost in the act of creation. That's freedom. That's
Yeah.
liberation.
And knowing that when I create this, because it feels good and it puts me in my highest vibration, that's going to benefit everybody else who's able to
Exactly.
receive it.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Amen to that. Yeah, and the beautiful thing is, like, you don't have to create a podcast, do anything grandiose. Like, this essence of creation that we're speaking on can be very subtle. It can be
Mhm.
in the little moments in your life. Like, we're creating always. That's the thing. So it's like, it's just about how you create. Where does this intention of creation come from? Like, you're creating when you interact with people on the street. You're creating when you're at your job doing something that you think maybe isn't quite interesting. Well, it's still creation. And it's like, where does this all stem from? Are you trying to get something out of the situation or the person, or are you just trying to get something in general? Or is this just like some sort of a free flowing, you're in the moment just because? That's the big difference. And that's where truly you do create. And then you actually, ironically, I feel, do get results. Like, you get the most results when you're not looking for results in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Let the universe wow you and show you how taken care of and provided for you are by
Yeah.
just following and stepping into your offering.
That's it. Step into your offering, everybody. We all have something to offer too. That's the thing. Every single human being is incarnated here to offer something. And only you could offer what you incarnated for. Like I'm offering what I incarnated for. You're offering what you incarnated for, Sarah. And whoever's listening, they have the special like spark, the special fractal in the mandala of God that only you could fill. It's like a puzzle piece that only you could fill in the puzzle. And that's what's beautiful, right? We're all unique in that way. We're all unique snowflakes. It may sound corny, but it really is the truth. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of this stuff is corny and it kind of hurts me inside to say. It's like, oh God, it's cringe. We've all heard it before, right? But it's the truth. It really is the truth. All of these cliches and this corny stuff that the hippies have said plenty of times, it really is the truth. We all have our special, unique knack, and when you step into it, that's when you find freedom. That's when you find bliss, joy, satya, ananda, and life truly becomes a miraculous dream that we create all together in our own way. It becomes a beautiful offering to each other.
Mhm.
Hallelujah. All right. I'm going to take a deep breath on that one. Yeah, this is a good talk. This is good. We channeled some good stuff, transmitted some powerful stuff. I feel good.
Yeah.
I think we can probably start to wrap it up at that, though. But I'll ask you, do you have anything else that you want to leave us on? Anything else that you want to say before we wrap it up?
Yeah, this is just popping in, so I'll share it as we were talking about the offering.
Please.
And this is part of what we're lifting out of. We've been so trained and programmed, and if we want to get sci-fi again, our DNA has been reconstructed and diminished to not remember this power and this offering that we have. And how it does connect all of us. We've been told we got to get this corporate job. We got to, you know, have the 401k. We got to have all this stuff. But then it keeps us out of our offering. And the world wants to tell you who you are and how you have to be instead of you telling that to yourself. And we're reprogramming that now. We're stepping into this remembrance of our true soul and actually how we're doing a lot of like root chakra rewiring. Um,
Mm,
it's foundational stuff
yeah.
that I feel whole, worthy, taken care of, provided for, loved, and safe so that I can step into my creation, my power, the heart of my offering, and channel through that inspiration. And um, so I think yeah, I just kind of wanted to bring that forward of like, this is if you're feeling that you're dropping into the space of I'm not safe or, oh gosh, if I do what I want, then I won't be taken care of. It's like, no, we're now suspending and surrendering into the space of my offering and my heart is the divine working through me and taking care of me. And I'm going to let it wow me. And I'm going to step in without expectation so that it can really show me the proof of how the heart works.
Amen to that. Yeah. It guides us along the way. The heart guides us along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that stuff doesn't disappear. We could say, still got to pay your taxes, still got to go to work. The mundane aspect of the human experience doesn't quite disappear. But I find when we do step into our offering, there is a guidance amidst the mundane, amidst the maze of Maya. There's something that we live, um, we live, we live in amidst the stuff that doesn't seem so holy. It's like brings a little light to the, I don't know, the menialness of our life, the human condition, right? It guides us along the humanly stuff. And that's what's also important because that doesn't disappear. We talked a little bit grandiose. We got pretty far out in this conversation, but like you said, we're working also on the root chakra to become
Yeah.
grounded, to take that aspect of the holiness of the high, the light, and integrate it with the dark. And that's what I feel we're doing in the 21st century as we speak. It's this balancing act, this integration between the human and the holy in some way. But if you
Mhm.
do find the balancing act, yeah, it becomes smoother. I feel as though the humanly stuff becomes a little bit smoother in that regard.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, this was an awesome conversation.
Yeah, I had fun. Thank you.
I'm feeling tuned in. I don't know about you.
Great. I'm glad. Always, yeah.
Well, yeah, do you have anything else to say? You want to just keep it at that?
I mean, I could say a million other things, so I'll keep it at that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you're an awesome person, Sarah. This was a very insightful discussion. I don't have anything else to say other than keep up the good work and peace and love to you.
Thank you. You too. It was, yeah, it's been a great conversation. So thank you
For
so much.
sure. For sure. And thank you to anybody that listened this long. Peace and love to you.
Yeah.
That's all. Goodbye, everybody.